My friends, the revolution is not coming. It's here.
That revolution's already here. There's just so many people in the world that truly can't see it, and that's scary as hell. And a lot of eyes were opened when Bitcoin hit 100,000. And I can tell you a hell of a lot more eyes are going to be opened when Bitcoin hits 1 million.
Eric Trump may have just delivered one of the greatest Bitcoin speeches of all time, up there with RFK Jr. And while the world is distracted with hot tours, aliens, and the TV is turning brother against brother, Eric Trump and others may have just signaled that the world is about to change in a massive way. You're going to want to stay until the finish. We have a massive show today, and $1 million Bitcoin is on the horizon. I'm Rustin, head of news at Simply Bitcoin, and without further ado, send it!
Now more than ever before, now after everything I've witnessed, having maybe the greatest look behind the curtains of anybody on Earth into what the systems truly are, how the systems are manipulated, Bitcoin is actually proving to be the greatest complement to the hard assets our family loves so much. You know, just like real estate, obviously Bitcoin's scarce. There's only 21 million. I don't need to tell anybody in this room that. Name another commodity that's capped. Name another commodity that as prices go up, it's not further exploited. Guys, if gold ever went to $20,000, you'd be tearing down this building. You'd be looking in the concrete pillars over there. You'd be trying to mine gold. You'd be changing the supply dynamics. With Bitcoin, you can't. Bitcoin's supply is capped. That scarcity, that hard limit, it makes it incredibly valuable, especially as these assets are being purchased in the billions. That's why you see the price skyrocket the way it is. But unlike real estate, Bitcoin's not tied to geography. It's global. It's instantly liquid. Try selling this convention center to a REIT right now. You know, I'll see you in 2 years. Try going out and selling a big office building. You know, it will take you 18 months to do. At the end of it, you're going to want to shoot yourself in frustration. Think about the complement to hard assets that Bitcoin is, right? It's instantly liquid. You can buy or sell it while literally having dinner with your wife or your husband or whoever it might be. It's borderless. You know, it can be transferred. It can be sold. It can be, moved with the click of a button. It's a global currency. It doesn't rely on traditional banking systems. It's not subject to the corrupt governments that we talked about before. We see them all over the world. There's corruption everywhere. There's no banks, there's no lawyers, there's no title agencies, there's no brokerage commissions, there's no middlemen. You don't need any of this to operate, to buy, sell. You don't need it to build. And that's why Bitcoin is such an unbelievable asset. Bitcoin and crypto, guys, they truly has the ability to change the world. It has the ability to disrupt traditional banking systems, in the biggest way, which really have been controlled by far too few. And I might be speaking against our own interest. We probably did better in that world than anyone. But Bitcoin is inclusive. It gives everybody the opportunity around the world to participate in ways that they never otherwise would have thought, no matter of their wealth, no matter of their location, the geography. People in developing countries, people who otherwise wouldn't stand a freaking chance. It gives them tremendous opportunity. And people very rarely ever say that about Bitcoin. It's a beautiful thing, and it's a thing that should be celebrated. It's a thing that should be embraced by all.
Absolutely epic, and I saw clips floating around, but didn't watch until I saw Predator's post. Now, Predator is incredibly based, questions everything, and someone you should definitely be following. So when I saw he posted it, I was like, okay, I have to see this. And if this isn't signaling how massively bullish things have become, I don't know what will. What you need to be asking right now is, what will the U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve trigger? Roll it.
I think that President Bukele is leading what I believe will be a movement by more enlightened leaders in emerging markets who are trying to break from the past, the horrible cyclical booms and busts, and especially devaluations, which is a very relevant topic today. I'm shocked to see the Nigerian naira plummeting 50-60% over the last year, the Egyptian pound dropping 40% in March. I mean, think about how crushing that is to purchasing power and wealth of individuals. And so Bitcoin really is an insurance policy against what that is, which we believe it's confiscation of wealth. I think it's becoming more and more relevant. The dollar is up a lot in the last 10, 12 years relative to most currencies. I don't think many people understand how much it is up, and that is, debilitating to some of these emerging markets. And so Bitcoin couldn't come around at a better time. If you have an internet connection and a smartphone, you have access to this insurance policy. And I think more and more individuals are going to take advantage of it. And the smart leaders in these countries are going to put a Bitcoin on their balance sheets.
Look at the dominoes falling. We just hit on the Middle East last episode, which is where Eric Trump gave his speech in Abu Dhabi. But boom, Hong Kong making moves. SBR, here we go. And there is a clip floating around where Chinese media reported on Donald Trump's plans to make the US the world's, quote, crypto capital and establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve. I smell game theory. This is incredibly bullish, but hey, let's keep it humble for 2025. What does a humble 2025 look like? Probably something like this. I predict that by the end of 2025, a strategic Bitcoin reserve will be established by one G7 member country and one BRICS member country. Then in 2026, all the dominoes fall. People do not understand how bullish all of this is. The United States of America is about to buy trillions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. You need to wake up now or get left behind. You ever seen a former CFTC chairman expose the fiat scam and get bull-tarded about Bitcoin? Well, you're about to. Roll it!
We live in a time where $1 out of every $4 has been printed in the last 5 years. We are actively debasing our currency. And at the same time, Bitcoin has, into its design, programmed scarcity. You can never have more than a certain amount of Bitcoin. And so the dollar is depreciating, Bitcoin is appreciating. Quick factoid. In 2018, the average American home would have cost you over $260,000 and over 400 Bitcoin. Today, the average American home is now over $460,000. It would cost you less than 5 Bitcoin.
Have you ever noticed that when something really important is happening, the news suddenly throws out a shiny distraction to keep you busy? Well, guess what? It's happening again, and we're going to break it down. But before we do, look at our likes.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Enjoying the show so far? Don't forget to like, subscribe, set those notifications for the best in Bitcoin delivered to you daily. Give us a pamp while we take a moment to recognize our sponsors, the masters of Bitcoin self-sovereignty, the Bitcoin Way. Simply Bitcoin originals are powered by the Bitcoin Way. They bring over 25 years of cybersecurity experience. They are your IT team in the Bitcoin world. They help bridge that gap from the why Bitcoin to the how Bitcoin. And as your dedicated Bitcoin IT team, the Bitcoin Way is here to guide you from start to finish on your journey to properly self-custody your Bitcoin. From your first wallet node to advanced multi-sig security, inheritance planning, and much more, the Bitcoin Way has got you covered, and they will hold your hand and walk you through the process toward becoming a sovereign individual.
You're telling me we don't know what the hell these drones are in New Jersey are? Is that correct?
That's right.
It's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. That's madness that we don't know what these drones are.
Why do we even have a state at this point? Egregious. And they are lying to you. This and the so-called CEO assassin that's all over the headlines. And at the same time, we've got the Haktua girl walking away with millions from a questionable meme coin scam. Her token, which had no real purpose, skyrocketed to a $500 million market cap before she pulled the rug on investors. And we're supposed to believe this was all just coincidence. Let's be real. It wasn't. She didn't just become famous overnight for making an offhand crass comment. Instant fame like that doesn't just happen. She was part of a carefully crafted distraction. And you know what? It worked. People got caught up in the noise while the bigger, more important stories slipped right past them. You know, things like the theft of the populace to fund death. Just in, the White House announces a $50 billion loan for Ukraine. Oh, and what about this one? Janet Yellen personally overseeing $16.7 trillion or 46% of all the debt increase in the history of the USA. But it's okay, guys, because she's sorry. And the CEO saga, MK Ultra vibes all over it. Do you really think it's a coincidence that these stories are dominating every headline right now? They're not just distracting you from the news. They're distracting you from something bigger. So stop falling for the nonsense. The distractions are loud, but the truth, it's right there for those who have eyes to see. And here's the truth about Bitcoin right now. Without Bitcoin, you're forced into a financial Hunger Games. You have to throw your cash at random assets, hotels, homes, startups, you name it, all because you're trying to keep up with inflation. And you know half of it will fail. But hey, spray and pray, right? That's a capital misallocation on steroids, and it's happening everywhere. It drives up the price of everything, including homes that people actually need. But what happens when people stop chasing crappy investments and start stacking Bitcoin instead? Prices recalibrate. The truth comes out. Your buddy who thought he could flip a $16 million hotel, he's holding the bag. Either he or the bank has to drop the price until someone actually wants it. That's the market doing its thing. Bitcoin changes the game because it's the ultimate store of value. Real estate, it's a 20th century relic. Maintenance costs, taxes, tenant drama, natural disasters, hard pass. As more people adopt Bitcoin, real estate prices will tank relative to Bitcoin.
Sold for $1.
And don't be fooled. Capitalism doesn't stop. People don't stop consuming just because they have Bitcoin. Once they have enough wealth saved, they'll trade some sats for experiences, comforts, or even to fund the next big idea. That's what happens when you have real money. You make rational choices. Now, about deflation, people love to say it's bad, but here's the reality. Deflation is coming. AI and robots will do 90% of the work. Everything gets faster, cheaper, better. Prices should fall, and that's good for humanity. But in a fiat debt system, deflation is the kiss of death. Governments can't pay back their debt if the currency gets more valuable, so they debase it. They rob you of your productivity gains, ensuring that prices always rise. 2% inflation per year if you're lucky. Bitcoiners already live in a deflationary world. Every 4 years, everything gets cheaper for us because we opted out of the fiat game. We're riding the wave of human productivity and sound money. And guess what? You can too. The choice is simple. Stay trapped in an inflationary hamster wheel or join the Bitcoin standard and reap the rewards of a deflationary system. And after everything you heard today, especially in the intro, we can know for sure time's a ticking. So what's it gonna be?
Like Prometheus gave us fire, Satoshi gave us a game we can all win. And the great thing about it is you don't just win the game, you get wealthy while you're winning the game.
Hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, give us a pat, and spread that sound money gospel. Want to keep this bullish party going? Click here. Ignore the fear and hate machine. We were put here to destroy it. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, you.